What is up everybody, my name is BobaTalks and today I'm here to bring you a new video about the Arrowverse and just how the CW are going to pull off their next crossover event. So as always everybody, before I get into this video, if you do end up enjoying it and you feel as though it deserves a like, go ahead and hit that like button because it really does help the channel out. So as you guys know, that this season's crossover across the superhero shows was heavily advertised as a 4-show crossover event between Legends of Tomorrow, Team Arrow, Team Flash and Supergirl. Now this is where everyone was a little disappointed with the latter, that in fact that Supergirl wasn't actually really a crossover episode at all, with only the last scene in the whole episode fitting into the whole crossover event, and that scene was actually just used again in the Flash episode, which was the next episode in the crossover event anyway. So as I said, the crossover event known as Invasion, where the Dominators invaded Earth, wasn't quite the 4-part epic crossover event that the CW teased, and executive producer Andrew Kreisberg has teased an actual 4-show Arrowverse crossover event to come next year by saying, and I quote, "Next year we're hoping to do a true 4-way crossover." Now he went on to describe how in the case of Invasion, due to Supergirl's recent addition to the CW lineup at the time, it prevented them from having the necessary scheduling time to incorporate all of the Supergirl actors into all the other Arrowverse shows. And this is true because we didn't get any of what the fans wanted with Supergirl. None of Team Supergirl actually met with Team Arrow, Flash or Legends, and a lot of fans wanted Cisco and Winn to meet each other, and that was definitely a big want from me, and obviously Alex and all the others to meet the team, but it just didn't happen. But fans can now look forward to this coming with the new renewed seasons for all the CW shows. Now Andrew Kreisberg goes on to explain this by saying that as Supergirl is now in the fold and is already set for season 3, he states that we're building in those dark days, and actually more dark days on Supergirl than the other shows, to make it a little easier. And what he means by when he says dark days is that it refers to the production of off days, where Supergirl's cast members can actually be free to go and appear on all the other shows. So how do you feel about Supergirl's Alex, Guardian, Winn and Martian Manhunter appearing on all the other Arrowverse shows? Because this would mean those characters meeting like Oliver Queen and the Flash. I mean personally I really like Winn, and Cisco is definitely one of my favourite characters on the Flash, so they'll definitely have a really good dynamic, as well as Felicity getting involved as they're all the team techies. Now I think that Oliver will do what he always does, and I think that will give quite the hard cold shoulder to like Guardian and Alex, especially as Guardian is a new human vigilante with no powers, and maybe Oliver won't be so keen on another person like him coming into the fold, but will eventually welcome him with open arms after, you know, James has probably done something to prove himself. And that's just Oliver's way as well. I mean, just look at how he treated Kara with, you know, her powers in the last crossover. So overall I think it's absolutely great that we're actually going to see an actual 4-show crossover event rather than the 3 and like barely 1/4 one we got last time, because the CW did hype the crap out of the previous one, and when everyone tuned in for that first night they literally just saw a 40-minute Supergirl episode and I mean if maybe a 2-minute crossover, which the scene was just copied and pasted into the Flash episode. And either way it's good to see them coming forward and saying this, and also explaining how it will happen by ensuring that there will be more dark days for the shows, and in particular that for Supergirl, as they really want to involve the characters from her show into more shows in the Arrowverse for the next seasons for all of these shows. So what other comic book storylines could they use for next year's 4-show crossover event? To be honest, there are so many times when the Justice League have teamed up to stop various villains that they can borrow any number of them. I mean, especially with that little tease from the Invasion crossover event with the proto Justice League, if you will, team getting a private congratulation from the president herself for preventing the Dominator's threat. They are effectively the TV show's universe of the Justice League, even though they aren't quite called that yet in the show. But let me know in the comments if there are any particular comic book storylines that you think that they could use for next season's or next year's 4-show crossover event. But yeah, as I said before, I think it's going to be really interesting seeing all these characters meet, you know, the new characters. And I keep saying Oliver Queen because of how, you know, brooding he is and how he was before with Supergirl. It's going to be really interesting to see how he reacts to another alien like Martian Manhunter. Definitely think that Guardian's going to have to prove himself. I know he's had, you know, a bit of training ever since that he met Superman. They sort of given him a bit of backstory for Guardian because, you know, to a lot of people it did appear that, oh, I want to be a vigilante, I'm going to pick up a shield and kick some ass. I do like Guardian and Supergirl, and I know that they've given context to how he can fight, but it just does seem so forced and so rushed for me personally. But I am warming up to Guardian's character, and hopefully, you know, with the crossover next year, it's going to be really interesting to see how Oliver Queen, you know, the badass Green Arrow with so much context and so much material they've used for his training and his background just to see how they interact with each other. Now, as for Alex, I'm not really entirely sure who she would mold best with. I think maybe the Legends of Tomorrow, because, I mean, she's not exactly a proper techie person. She's definitely out there with the action. So I definitely don't think that she would be, you know, hanging around with Win or Felicity. So I think she'll partner up well with Katie Lotz, you know, Sarah Lance. And who knows, she might have a crush on Alex as well, just like she thought Supergirl was pretty cute. But we all know that Alex is taken now, so it's going to be just really interesting to see what role Alex will have in the next year's crossover event. Now, as much as I would freaking love this to happen, I don't think they will bring, you know, Tyler's Superman into the crossover, even though that would be so amazing, because you can imagine a true 4-show crossover event next year, just like we had with that lineup on that roof with all of those heroes there. It would be just amazing to see Superman there with Supergirl as well. I mean, they might do this, obviously I don't know, but I don't think they'll want to steal Supergirl's thunder. But if the event was big enough that they needed all these heroes to get involved already, they may as well throw Superman into the mix and, you know, have 2 Kryptonians, because that would truly be a 4-show crossover event that would just blow everybody's minds. At the end of the day as well, I know these crossover events are very hard for like the team and the production in general, but if they do manage to pull this off, I would also love to see Jesse Quick involved in it as well. Honestly, as I just said, getting all these actors and all these different shows in one place and all the schedules to fit is going to be incredibly hard, but as Andrew Kreisberg said, they're trying to put a lot more dark days into these shows so that this can happen. So imagine, you know, 3 speedsters. We've got Barry Allen, Wally West, and Jesse Quick. We've got Team Arrow, you know, Oliver Queen, Diggle, Felicity. We've got Team Flash, we've got Cisco, and all that lot. And imagine just having Supergirl win and all that lot as well with Superman. It would just be so overpowered, and it would be amazing to see all of those heroes tackle another great threat. But guys, what I want to hear from you in the comments below is, what are you most excited for next year's 4-show crossover event, you know, the proper 4-show crossover event this time? And what characters are you most looking forward to meeting each other? Are you looking forward to Win meeting Cisco just like I am? Or are you more excited for Martian Manhunter and Alex and everybody else to get into the fold? Also, let me know if you think there's any in particular stories from the comics you think that the Justice League, you know, have handled that you think they could turn into a TV show problem just like they did with Invasion. And lastly, do you think that they will bring Superman into the crossover event? Because I don't know if they will or not. It is really slim pickings in my opinion, but if they did that, it would be incredible. Even if it wasn't for much of it, if he just came to that Earth and just, you know, met everybody and was like, oh no, Kara can handle this, and then he just flies away, that will be enough, I think, just, you know, to make all the fans happy that, you know, Superman has met Oliver Queen and the Flash and everybody else. But apart from that, everybody, if you did enjoy this video, go ahead and leave a like on it. And if you aren't subscribed to this channel already, maybe even consider subscribing to stay up to date with all DC news like this. And if any of you are subscribed already, maybe even consider hitting that bell button to enable alerts to stay up to date on every single video I upload. Now guys, thank you all for watching. My next video should be about the whole new Nightwing thing and how I think that it could affect the DCEU. So thanks for sticking around. As always guys, I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.